far?
It's one word I can use to describe it. It's been exciting. Just learning new concepts, just the different ins and outs of the playbook, just getting familiar with everything. It's been really exciting. Just getting back to work with the guys. We didn't get spring ball last year, so it's a great opportunity for us to build and grow as a team this off season and use spring ball as that.
Next, we go to Rich Scarcella.
Thanks, Nick. Jahan, Jaquan was on earlier and talked about you guys meeting along with Tariq and discussing coming back. And I was just wondering who organized that, what was your input, and why ultimately did you want to come back? Thank you.
Yeah, so that was kind of like a mutual thing between all three of us. We kind of just met up together one day, and we just talked about it a little bit, and we just kind of talked about how Coach Franklin always preaches championship habits and the standard of Penn State football, and we felt like last year we didn't meet that standard, and we wanted to be those leaders on the team who set the standard for years to come after us, and we know that Penn State football is used to winning, and that's what we got to do. We got to meet that standard, and we felt like this is the perfect opportunity for us to showcase our talents and meet that standard and achieve some great goals.
Mark Brennan up next.
Welcome, Nick. And Jahan, what can you tell us about how Sean Clifford has looked in practice so far, and how do you think he's kind of responded to everything he went through last season? Thanks.
Yeah, Sean has looked wonderful. Every single practice I've been with him, he has that chip on his shoulder. He doesn't take that 0-5 thing with like slightly at all. So every single day he comes out to practice, he's ready to work, and he pushes us to get better. We see him setting the standard of being there early, leaving late, and working hard every single day. So yeah, he's been a tremendous leader throughout the process of this spring ball, and it's really fun to go out every day with him in battle.
New Bias Wilborn up next.
Hey, thanks for that, Nick. Welcome on to the beat, and Jahan, thanks for the time. What have you seen over the last couple of weeks with the quarterback group? Obviously with Cliff, but also Robinson and Christian as well.
Yeah, a lot of guys who like to compete. They literally compete in everything they do. That's one of our core values of the team: is compete in everything you do, and they do that to a very high level. So it's very fun to come out to practice and see those guys compete every single day and just make each other better. That's the only way that we're gonna make each other better is competing against each other and making sure that we're all on top of our stuff. So they do a great job of that, and it's wonderful going out to practice with them every day.
Hey, Banjiri.
Hey, John. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good, thank you. So coming into the 2021 season, what are some of the expectations you have for yourself and then for some of the other guys in that room? You know, Parker, Keandre got some important playing time last season, and they kind of showed some of their abilities. What are some of your expectations for the room as a whole and then yourself?
Every year, an expectation I have for myself is be better than the last. So I had a pretty solid season last year, I would say, but I want to have a remarkable season, one that you guys will never forget. Every day I go to meetings, I write on the top of my notebook, be legendary. And that's one thing I want to preach this year is just like being legendary, basically, and leaving my mark on Penn State football and college football as a whole. So I know that's one expectation I have for myself. And for the younger guys, I want them to do the same. I want them to be better than I was. I want them to be better than I am this year. And that's the only way we're going to have success as a wide receiver group.
Next, we go to Tyler Donahue.
Hi, Nick. Welcome. And Jahan, great to see you.
Asking about a couple of those wide receivers that stepped up last year as younger players, Keandre, and then, of course, Parker. From year one to year two, with having all the spring ball ahead of them, what are your what's your forecast for what those guys can become? Maybe what we saw freshman year. What are they adding to the arsenal, and what has you excited about those two players?
Yeah, so what I see every day on the practice field is unbelievable. Just because now that they're getting comfortable within the program and getting comfortable within college football, they're realizing the speed of the game. That's like a big key when you're a young guy. You have all the talent in the world, but you have to get comfortable. You have to just keep playing, and they've been doing that. So those guys, they're making some remarkable plays, and I just can't wait to see them display it in the fall.
Andre Monroe.
Hey John, what were some of the specific challenges last season with the COVID circumstances, and do you think you're better prepared for that this year?
Yeah, so there were a lot of things that we had to endure last year with the COVID. Like I think for the beginning of we actually had like 2 fall camps last year, so we like split it in half. We had like 4 or 5 practices, then they shut down the whole thing, and then they brought us back and we had another camp. So like just little things like that, just getting off schedule was the biggest thing. And now that we're kind of used to it and kind of prepared for it, it's enabled us to hit the ground running. And Coach Franklin has done a great job prepping us for every situation possible. So it's been a tough process, but we have the right people to make it through and basically guide us through it.
Go to Corey Geiger next.
Jahan, a year ago at this time, we didn't quite know what to expect from you, and then you end up having a breakout year. How has life changed, if at all, for you, just as a football player, confidence, team leader? Just how different are you compared to a year ago?
So I kind of approach every day the exact same. Whether I'm on the bench, starter, whatever it is, I approach it the exact same, and that's going out and competing every day like I have something to prove. Because that's the only way I'm gonna push myself to get better. That's the only way I'm gonna push my teammates to get better. Is me going out and giving my all every single day. So I kind of put all the stats aside, everything I've done last year. It kind of doesn't mean anything to me anymore because there's a whole another season that we have to play. So yeah, I go out every day and I just compete my butt off.
Go back to Audrey.
Sorry, I can't get unmuted. Jahan, we've heard a lot about Coach Yursich and kind of his demeanor at practices. What can you tell me about that? How would you describe him out on the field?
Yeah, he's a character. I love it though. The first day he stepped in, I love the energy he brought to the team and everything he was about. It's been fun working with him, and I honestly just can't wait to go through the whole season with them and everything, and just dive into just new things that I can learn. I talked about like previous, like just learning new things from all the coaches that I've been able to have. And he's a mastermind, and I just can't wait to just pick his brain apart and learn the new things that he has to offer.
David Eckert next.
Hey Jahan, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, thanks. That FaceTime call that you had with Tariq and Jaquan, I mean, were you guys bouncing stuff off of each other, while you were making your decision before that? And what's your relationship like with those guys?
Yeah, we were kind of just throwing thoughts at each other, like, what are you gonna do? Pros and cons of coming back. Literally, just talking about every little thing, every little detail. We were talking about it, and we came to the decision that it was best for us. It was best for the team. It was best for we literally thought about everything. Best for our families, everything. And we felt that it was the right decision to come back and just give our all, literally every single day, competing with those guys. They're some of the best in the country. and we know that going against each other every single day, it's only going to make us better and prepare us for the next level. So that was a big thing for us, and my relationship with those guys is unmatched. I'm with those guys literally every single day, whether I'm playing the video games with Brisker or I'm hanging out with Tariq. He's always over here in my house. So literally, we're like this on and off the field. So it's pretty cool.
Go to Nick next.
Hi, Jahan. Can I go back to Mike Yurcich for a second and you mentioned you were anxious to learn some new things with him. Can you talk about anything that in particular that he's put in so far, and some of the new things that he's doing, concepts, anything at all?
Yeah. One thing that really sticks out is the tempo that we use in practice, and I'm really looking forward to that. I can't dive in too much, but that's one thing that definitely sticks out to me in particular is the tempo that we use, keeping defenses off balance and stuff like that. So that's been really fun to me. It's been kind of giving our defense a little trouble. So any little advantage that we can use, it helps in the long run.
We'll go to Neil Rudell next.
Hey, Nick. Just trying to get on here quicker than Audrey. Hey, Jahan, I'm wondering, as you went through your decision to return, did you consult some of Penn State's receivers that are having success in the NFL? And who are some of those guys that you have relationships with that you look up to?
Yeah, I have a very good relationship with KJ Hamler, as he was here in my first 2 years, and I got to learn a lot from him. I was talking to him literally right after the season. I was talking to him all throughout the season, right after the season, and just asking him like any advice you can give me. Literally, I talked to. We had a Zoom call last year with Chris Godwin. I got a lot of good information from him. I talked to Allen Robinson a little bit about a month ago, just picking his brain apart a little bit. So it's been great to get all the feedback possible and just talk to those guys because they're in that position right now where they're making a lot of money, they're making plays on Sundays, and in the end goal, that's what I want to do. So getting a little information from them, just picking their brains apart, it's been fun.
Go to Mark Wogenrich next.
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, thanks. I want to go back to the word legendary. You said you write that in your notebook every day. Why do you do that, and what does it mean to you? What's a legendary season this year for you?
Being legendary is something that one person you guys know, Saquon Barkley. I feel like that his career here was legendary. That's something we talk about to this day. It's something I see on Instagram and Twitter every single day. I see Saquon Barkley college highlights or something like that. So just basically something that people will never forget, that will live in history literally forever. When you talk about the greatest that played in college football, I want my name to be mentioned in that. So literally that's my goal, just to be legendary and just leave my mark.
We'll go back to Rich next.
Jahan, how many times have you seen your catches against Ohio State since the end of the season? How many times have people mentioned them to you? And secondly, how much film of Texas and Ohio State have you watched from the last two seasons? Thank you.
Yeah, so that catch, I've probably seen it probably over 1,000 times, honestly. I'm starting to think that was like the only catch I made last year. But yeah, it was a pretty cool catch. But I have a couple other cool ones. So I try not to watch that one as much. I see it a lot though on like my Twitter and stuff like that. But I've been really diving into the Texas and Ohio State film a bunch, just trying to get familiar with the offense. Because once you get comfortable in the offense, it allows you to play fast and allows you to be your best. So I've been trying to get familiar as much as possible with the offense and just getting comfortable.
Mark Brennan.
Jahan, a couple guys we haven't seen much of, Jaden Dotson and Malik Mega. What can you tell us about them, and how important is depth going to be if you guys hope to play at the tempo you want to play at?
Yeah. So those guys, they've been making tremendous strides within the program, within the offense, and I honestly can't wait to see them flourish. We have a lot of depth in the receiver room with Malik, Jaden, Daniel George, Cam Sullivan Brown, Norval Black. We have tremendous amount of depth, and I see those guys make plays every day in practice, and I just can't wait for you guys to see those guys make plays on Saturdays.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go to Lauren Muffler next.
To follow up on Mark's question about being legendary, I mean, what would you say is the next step in your progression, and, you know, kind of specific things that you're working on to reach that legendary status that you're aiming for?
Yeah, so some of the things that I'm preaching is just doing extra, being extra, looking at the greats that were playing before me, and making sure that I emulate their game in some way. Just anything, literally anything. Staying after practice late, coming early, anything.
We'll go to Tyler Donahue next.
Jahan, your friend Pat Fryermuth is off to the NFL. We're all curious what tight end is going to look like for Penn State here in the next year. Can you give us the scouting report on what you're seeing out of that tight end group, and specifically Brenton, Theo, and Tyler so far this spring?
Yeah, we have 3 tremendous tight ends that bring a lot to the game. They've been making a great amount of plays in spring ball, and I think all of them have at least a touchdown so far. So that's huge for us, just to see them making strides. And basically, Pat showed them a lot. He was really hands-on with them when he was here. I watched him staying late, getting catches with them, going over plays and stuff. And they're all like, they love to ask questions and stuff like that. They're all willing to learn, and that's all you can ask for. Literally, that's how you become great. You become a sponge, and that's all 3 of them. That's what they are.
We'll go our last question, Audrey Snyder.
Jahan, who has made maybe the most impressive or most memorable play so far this spring during practices?
That's tough. I'm gonna have to go on the defensive side. Jair Brown, Tig. He last week he had 2 crazy interceptions in one period, and that's kind of like not really like normal. I would say just to have 2 interceptions in the same period, but he made 2 tremendous plays on the ball, and it was pretty cool to watch. I had to like tip my hat off to the defense for that one. So that was definitely, I would say, biggest plays this spring.